On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we celebrate the second birthday of Facebook Live. We're going to talk about the history, we're going to talk about the future, and we're going to talk about ways you can use it to make some moolah. And today's episode is made possible by the Com Expo, which is being held April 19th through the 21st. If you haven't checked this out yet, now is the time. Get your tickets right away. You can get them at raisebonuses.com/expo. And they've got it at a very special price right now. We want to get as many people as possible. And if you buy through my page, we're actually going to do some extra fun stuff out there. I'm going to take you out to an escape room, and we're going to learn how to work together to escape. I don't know what yet. Well, we'll see where it is we escape from.
I also understand at the Com Expo that you're going to learn how to make Molotov cocktails.
No.
Oh.
No. Not at the Com Expo. That's at a different expo being held in Detroit.
Commie Expo.
That's in Detroit.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
so.
All right.
This is in Orlando, beautiful sunny Orlando, on the 19th through the 21st. raisebonuses.com/expo. You're going to want to check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you can join us. So with that, Steve, are you ready to hear our beautiful song?
Let's get musical.
All right, here we go.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
It's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Earn.Show podcast network. We got a Facebook page, and if you go over there and click on following and see it first, you can get all that great stuff I share. We're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, we're everywhere.
We are indeed everywhere, and I just realized I didn't have the logo or the ticker on, so I just turned them on there.
But, there's the ticker.
It's funny doing the intro to this show on Facebook Live because I always put the little banner saying what the show is while the song's playing, and then I turn it off randomly just to see Steve, who's not dancing to the music anymore. As soon as he thinks no one can see him, he stops dancing. So, oddly, I still am dancing to it. So,
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, that's the kind of guy you are, Ray.
But that's what it is because, you know what, Steve? Because we are live on Facebook. For those of you that join us there, if you're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, then we're not live. But when you're watching us on Facebook, we are indeed live to the world, and you get to see all the crazy things that we do beforehand as well as behind the scenes, and see our pretty faces as we do the show. So, and we have a lot of people.
If you're within the sound of my voice, call the cops. I can't get out of here.
Yes, there you go. And you know what? The cop's going to show up at your door now.
It's an old joke. No, that's a really old joke from Cheech and Chong or something. So.
But today we're going to talk about Facebook Live, and I think it's only appropriate that we start off with, as we said, it's been 2 years that Facebook Live. By the way, let's celebrate. I'm going to open up my can here, my bottle here. Oh, did you hear that? That's my celebration bottle.
The bubbly. There we go.
Very good.
Which root beer are you having today?
That is Boylan Bottling Company root beer. Boylan root beer. Okay. Very popular across the country and across the world. Check it out. Well, maybe not across the world. Across the country anyway. Very good stuff. That's what we're going to celebrate with today. But to start off, I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing here because obviously for the last Facebook Live's been around for about 2 years now. But what we're doing has only been, maybe a year? Somewhere around there, I think. We've been doing it live on Facebook.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Because,
of course, the older I get, if I think it's a year, it's been 2. But
that seems to be the case, doesn't it?
I think you kind of jumped on this almost right away.
Yeah, well, here's the way this worked. Obviously,
right away.
Facebook Live came out 2 years ago, and when it originally came out, it was only available to a certain number of people, usually top celebrities. If everybody may remember Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, he was the first one to really jump all over this thing because he had early access to it, and it was very popular then. And then it rolled out to everybody where you could use your phone and you could go live. And then, I don't even know if it was a year ago. I should have looked this up too. I'm not sure where. But at some point in time is when they decided to open up Facebook Live to desktop use, where you could do more than just go live from your phone. And that's when things like this show were born, or at least the doing it on Facebook Live was born. And when they did that, I'd been waiting for that to happen. I'd been waiting for a long time for that to happen. I remember when Facebook Live first came out, I was, drooling over the idea, and I couldn't wait for it to come out for my phone. But once it came out for my phone, I was like, oh, we got to wait till it comes for the desktop, and we can do all these cool things. And the funny thing is, they brought it live to the desktop. They didn't really, no fanfare, just kind of one day it was there. And believe it or not, we actually put together a course on Facebook Live, how to use it with the desktop, 3 days later. So literally it went live on like a Tuesday or something like that, and by Thursday or Friday we had an entire course made showing you exactly how to do it, the software you needed and everything, and we put it all together in 2 days, everything from start to scratch, and got it out there. And it actually sold quite well, considering there was hardly any prep time whatsoever to hype it up or anything beforehand, but it did quite well. And soon afterwards we brought the radio show to Facebook Live and started doing it live here. We've had a lot of growing pains. We've had plenty of times where Facebook Live has shut off on us, or we've lost our stream, or who knows what while we're doing the show. But for the most part, it's pretty darn amazing that we could do an entire show like this. And if you're only listening to this, you got to see it live on Facebook or a replay on Facebook, because it kind of looks like a CNN style show. Steve and I are in our own little boxes on the screen, the date and the time and the logo, and there's a crawl underneath. So it's a pretty complex little thing. But Steve, what do you got to say about all this?
Well, we were doing Hangouts before that.
We were doing Hangouts. They were much more crude than this.
We didn't have all this fancy CNN stuff, and but even with Hangouts, we got knocked off, a number of times. And what I've always preached is act like nothing was wrong and just start again.
That's exactly it. And, when I deal with clients, I tell them that all the time, but, they take it so seriously. They're so worried, that something might go wrong. And it's like, if it does, who cares? You're still on the cutting edge, You think about this, for CNN or MSNBC or Fox News to do these types of things, they have to travel and put up satellite links and everything else. And here we are, two clowns in different parts of the country doing a live radio show that looks just like a CNN broadcast across the planet. So technically we have larger reach than probably CNN or Fox News does anyway, potentially. 2 billion people at any point in time can watch our show. I wish they would. They don't, but that's okay. We'll survive with that. But someday, but the point being is we've got an entire worldwide audience of over 2 billion people that could potentially watch this show. And I'm not paying satellite uplinks. I'm not paying graphics people. I'm not paying for a giant broadcast truck outside. I'm just pressing a couple buttons and going for it. And that's pretty darn amazing. And the fact that you can broadcast anywhere across the world that quickly and that easily, it's worth celebrating. And that's why we're here for the birthday party for Facebook Live, because it is a very exciting thing. So the question is, we've talked about where it's come from, starting with the phones and some celebrities having it, all the way to being able to do a show like this. And now, of course, you've got Major League Baseball that's broadcasting games. You've got, I believe, there are TV shows that are broadcasting live on Facebook. I believe there's going to be NFL games. I know there's soccer games that have been broadcast live on Facebook. So all of these things are coming to this live format. And it's not just Facebook Live. YouTube also has a lot of these things going live. So it's a brave new world out there, and there's a lot that we've done over the last 2 years. 2 years ago, we would have been talking about Periscope and Meerkat, and now here we are with Facebook and YouTube Live and Instagram Live, are kind of the big formats. And Periscope's still kicking, but certainly not what it was, but it was the pioneer. It was kind of the lead-off pioneer of it all. So very
I can remember you getting back from a Daryl Eves seminar, Vid Summit. And it was the second Vid Summit. Why I remember that, I don't know. And everybody was really high on Meerkat. And we did a show on Meerkat. When we were just,
we did.
I got over Meerkat. Yeah.
I remember Owen Video was sitting in front of me doing Meerkat during the show and showing it off and everything, because nobody really knew a lot about live. And honestly, live had been around for a little while, but still nobody knew a lot about it. And I think right after that, Meerkat went under and disappeared like maybe 2 months after that. So it didn't last very much longer than that there. But Periscope's still alive and kicking, owned by good old Twitter, so they've got a little bit of money behind them. So they got two dying platforms all in one. And sorry, Twitter guys, that's a joke there, I know. But so it's just it's been a lot of change over the last couple of years when it comes to live video and the things you can do. News companies are broadcasting live on Facebook. Sports are broadcasting live. We're broadcasting live. And I would love to see in the history of things, because I'm willing to bet, Steve, that we were, if not the first, we were one of the first to do this kind of a format show on Facebook Live. Nobody noticed, nobody cared, nobody watched, but we were the first ones doing it. Some people were watching. The guys who are watching right now, you were probably watching in the beginning, but...
Well, I think it was over a year ago, but it wasn't 2 years ago.
But when the desktop came live about a year ago.
Yeah, so. Right. But I still remember you saying, and Ray's an affiliate marketer, big time, which probably most people who are watching this know. But I remember you saying, this is going to be huge for my business, Facebook Live. Yep. I found this software called Mimo, M-I-M-O. Because there's all kinds of Mimos out there, but this is
multi-in, multi-out, folks.
Yep, multi-in, multi-out. And you said this is going to be huge for sales. I'm going to be able to do webinars on Facebook.
Yep.
And, I hate the term, it blew my mind, but that blew my mind. I had to call you and ask you what you were on at the time.
Well, and I'll tell you, speaking of that, because we're going to talk a little bit about making money with Facebook Live, and honestly, the first time, and I got to figure out what it was, because I can't even remember what product it was now, but I remember doing my first real Facebook Live where I showed off a product, because, with some of the tools that we have now, we can do this CNN style show where we can see ourselves on camera, but I can do screen capture, show my computer, do all that kind of stuff. And I remember doing a demo of a software, and I can't remember what software it was now. I got to go back and find out, because I've told this story a million times, but I don't remember what the product was. And when we did that, we sold $900 worth of product.
I remember that.
And that blew my mind. And then we did another one. It was like $600. And so, you can make money doing this. And there's probably people a lot bigger than me going, $600 or $900, huh? But, honestly, you think about that. You do a Facebook Live and you make $900, and you did 20-minute little episode just showing off the software. That's pretty incredible. And, if you can do that, if you can get an audience and you can do that, that's pretty good. That's going to, supplement a lot of things. In fact, I should probably be doing a lot more of them than I do right now, even though I probably do an average of 1 to 3 a day in some shape or form.
Okay.
Not necessarily for sales, but just some sort of Facebook Live. In fact, we got another one going. We got a replay of a webinar that's going to be going on tonight at 5.
Is that the one with Brian?
That is it's the one with Brian on the Google Maps. So it's one that you can attend, and people will be able to watch that live there. It's a little over 2 hours. So
it's good, though. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes,
it is
by
good.
the way. I was on it, but it's worth every minute. If you're looking to grow your SEO business, or you want to get in the SEO business, this is the way to do it, because people aren't going so much to websites anymore. They're going to Google Maps.
Going to those maps.
That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Well worth it. And the fact that we can take that pre-recorded webinar, put it through, stream it out live on Facebook, and hopefully get some people on there and make some sales. So it's a great platform for that. And a lot of things have changed over the last couple of years. But just doing those live, ask me anything about a product thing, that can be pretty impressive. It does a lot of good. So it's a lot of fun to go live, to meet people, to talk to people. Honestly, I've said this a couple of times over the last couple of months. Right now, in my mind, and a while back, I said there was two things: 3D or 360-degree video, and live video are the two big things. 360 video, and it still hasn't quite taken off yet. It's still kind of hard to do. But I'll tell you what I do think the two big things right now really are, and 360 video will be the third one in that. As it is growing. But is the Facebook Live still, and Facebook Messenger, or I shouldn't say Facebook Live video, because YouTube Live is huge in that too. But Facebook Messenger is the other one. I think that is the future of what we're doing. It's kind of email 2.0, and with the bots and everything else, they've got a good platform. They still need some work. There's some things you can't quite do as well as you can with email, but there's a lot of things you can do that are much better than email. So those are my two platforms that I think are really going to take over the way marketing is done, and I think that's pretty darn exciting. So let's talk a little bit about the old Facebook Live here and what we can do to be able to grow business and to start making money using Facebook Live, because obviously with the growth of this and the new tools, you've got a lot of opportunity. Now, Steve and I here, we use a pretty fancy little software, as he mentioned, Mimo Live, which is kind of like a TV studio in a box, but you don't need to go that crazy in order to use Facebook Live and to make some money. And what's Steve pointing at there? Steve's pointing at something.
Well, I'm just pointing at the graphics. So, we've got over there. No, wait a minute. It's the opposite way. Over there, we've got the date and time, and we got a logo, and we got a crawler, and we got all this groovy stuff. It looks like we're on a TV set, and we're just sitting in our offices on a webcam. And I think our faces aside, I think it looks darn good.
Yes. Ignore the faces, and everything else looks pretty good. But you don't need that kind of fancy stuff to get yourself started. There are plenty of free softwares, and we've talked about them before, that you can use to do this. And once you do, you could broadcast pretty much anything. You can broadcast your screen. So if you don't want to be on camera, like me, I don't mind being on camera. Other people mind me being on camera, but I don't mind being on camera. But if you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to. You can show a PowerPoint presentation or a Keynote presentation. You could show, just a screen capture of your website to show off different softwares. As we've talked about many times, on YouTube, there are people making millions of dollars just opening up Disney toys. So you can imagine if you're doing the same type of thing live on here, teaching a software. Let's say you're a Photoshop expert. You could do a live show that talks about Photoshop and then offers, a set of plugins that you're selling, or just a copy of Photoshop, and maybe you're making money off of, where they're purchasing Photoshop from. So there's a lot of great options out there to do these types of things. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the ideas that we've had that have either worked or we haven't done yet, but we want to, but we're too lazy. But we know we'll work in other ways. And I tend to fall into the lazy side a lot of times. So the first thing you can do is one of the things that we're doing right now, which is a live show that's for a podcast. Now, a lot of people have podcasts, and a lot of people, if you're recording your podcast, why not do it like we do here? Do it on Facebook Live. The recording still sounds great. People can join you live. They can watch. They can interact. And you can have a lot of fun and build your audience all at the same time. So simply taking what you're already doing and turning it into a Facebook Live can make a big difference for your audience. Steve, go for it.
Well, yeah, and a good half of our listens. See, he was mimicking me until he noticed I was looking at him. A good half of our listens come from Facebook Live, or
yes.
A good half of our audience. So we get a few hundred views on Facebook Live. We get a few hundred downloads on our podcast. Adds up to 500. It's about half and half. Just FYI.
Thank you for pointing out how poorly we do. I appreciate that.
That's pretty good. It's a niche podcast.
It is a niche podcast.
This is my mantra. It's pretty good. And of course, he thinks he should be like John Lee Dumas or Pat Flynn.
It should be millions of downloads, millions.
That's right.
But no, it does. It does get a lot, and over the time, because here's the other thing that people don't tend to pay attention to with Facebook Live is your live views are only a portion of it, because after that, people can still watch these videos. So if you get 200 people watching you live, you might get another 500 people later, and that can be a big difference. And I know that when I do a live video, I'm always surprised afterwards. I'll go back an hour later and I'll see that has 300 views already, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that many people were watching that quickly. But you do get a lot of views with Facebook Live, and if you want to be able to grow that audience, you need to do what we do with this show most of the time, and what I should be doing with a lot of other things, is have a set schedule. Have a show. We have a show every Friday, barring, whatever issues that come about, or holidays or things like that. Every Friday at 2 o'clock.
Life gets in the way.
But every Friday at 2 o'clock, we go live, and we do a live show, and we talk about the things that are going on, and we talk about a subject, and hopefully you guys enjoy that. But once you do, once you've got that groove down, you can start to really build an audience with it. And unfortunately for me, I tend to be a little more spontaneous. I'll be like, ooh, I want to go talk about this, and I jump on and I do it, and that's great, and it gets some views and everything. But I realize that I need to have a set schedule and say, every day at 10 o'clock I'm going to do this, or every day at 2 o'clock I'm going to do this. And it's hard to do that, or at least I say it is. But it's definitely it's something that I want to work on and something that I want to do. And I'm actually working on something right now that I think would be kind of fun. Just a couple of minutes every morning where we do some sort of training, very short, and something fun, and put together a little show like that and let people have fun with it. And we've done a couple of tests with it, and it's gone pretty well. So if we can build on that and start to get regular with it, hopefully we can get people to join in. But that's one way to really work on sales portion of things, is by doing something that's on a regular schedule. And one thing is, if you've got a product, like let's say you're not necessarily an affiliate, but let's say you've got your own product and you're going to be putting out a product. There's a lot of things that you can do to build up that product beforehand, get the hype going, and really make a killing once it goes out. And it can be done in Facebook Live. And the way that you want to do that is by having a variety of different content that you use throughout the process of your program being created. For instance, one of the things that you can have is kind of a behind-the-scenes video blog type deal. So go live. Let's say you're putting together a new program that does X, Y, or Z. You could do it behind the scenes from the office, just with your phone, and walk through and be like, hey, here's what we're working on today. We're going to be adding the whatever function to our widget 229 today, and kind of show some of the work behind the scenes, maybe show briefly what it does, kind of tease people with it, and it just lets them into your world that helps them to see what you're doing, how you're building it. One thing that really would work very well is I've got over in that closet there, and I don't use it nearly enough, and I should, is I've got the Mevo camera, which is a little camera. It's about the size of I don't even know, smaller than a soda can, and it broadcasts directly live to Facebook, right? You put the camera up on a tripod, you turn it on, and you can broadcast directly to Facebook. And what you can do with that is really show a behind the scenes, and I should do it more. Because if I'm going to be working on a product, maybe I'm going to be shooting over in my studio over here, I can do a kind of behind the scenes showing me shoot it. Don't know if that'd be good or not, because then people will see me mess up 800 times. They think my videos are so perfect. And
right now, that would be different than what you're doing now.
Yeah. No, exactly, right? No, it's funny because I go through it and I do these videos for a product. And I'm like, boy, that looks really good and everything. And then I think back and I'm like, I had to do that 30 times just to get that to sound right.
But that's okay. People are kind of used to that. And what I've noticed is university journalism programs, college journalism programs that do this kind of stuff, they are so used to that happening, the bugs and everything.
Sure.
I shouldn't say they don't care, but they expect it and they work around it. It doesn't.
No, and I think using the Facebook Live and going behind the scenes and showing the shooting going on, I think it could be a lot of fun. And you can see how things are built and whatnot. And you don't want to necessarily have a 24-hour stream and put people to sleep, but just a little teasers, kind of let them see behind the scenes is a good thing. What you always want to do is you want to remember to branch out too, because just because you're going live to Facebook doesn't mean you can't go live to Periscope and do the same thing, or live to YouTube and do the same thing, or live to Dailymotion or Vimeo or whatever it is, because all of those players have live platforms now that you can use and get a bigger audience. In fact, there's a software that I pay money for every month, and probably shouldn't because I don't use it nearly enough, but I should use it a lot more. I'll have to remember this because I'm saying it out loud, which means I have to do it. But there's a beautiful software called Joycaster, and what it does is it allows you to go live to all these different platforms at the same time. So you can go live to YouTube and Dailymotion and Periscope all at the same time, and everybody can see you. Technically speaking, you're not supposed to do that with Facebook. You can do it. It can be done. But technically, you're not supposed to do that. Terms of Service says when you're going live to Facebook, you should not be going live at the same time to other platforms. So just be careful with that. But don't neglect the other platforms. They are really good. They can be very helpful, and they can grow your audience, and it can get them to come to your Facebook Lives. I guarantee if they're on Dailymotion and they know about live streams on Dailymotion, chances are they have a Facebook account as well. So it's a great way to send them over there. And, the reason we focus on Facebook Live versus some of those other platforms, including even YouTube Live, is it's much easier to get an audience live on Facebook than it is on the other ones. YouTube Live can do okay with that as long as people know beforehand. But on Facebook Live, they get notified, they get bombarded, and they get sent to it, and it's just easier to get a live audience. At least it has been for me on Facebook. Obviously,
you've got a ready-made audience already.
Yeah, there's an audience there that's already ready to do that. And if you have a good YouTube audience, chances are they're going to watch it. But what I found is on YouTube, they tend to watch it later. They don't tend to join live nearly as much as Facebook does. But on the YouTube side of things, that audience tends to last longer. And what I mean by that is 2 months from now, people are still watching that live video, whereas on Facebook, you'd be lucky if they could even find it, let alone watch it. So that is
Facebook, they're going to watch it later in the day. That's about it. I mean, it's there. It's still there, but it's just more discoverable.
It gets buried and hidden very easily, whereas YouTube, everything is right there. You can watch anytime. So it just makes it a little easier. So another thing that you can do, if we're going back to talking about like a product, is do the preview of it. If it's a software, you've done the behind the scenes and everything, do a Facebook Live showing off the actual product. Even if it's not quite ready yet, you could show how it works and how it's going to work, and that can be a great way to get things going.
You did that with Lead Kahuna.
Actually, it's very funny you mentioned that, Steve, but go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, Lead Kahuna's been out for a while, but they've done a re-rollout of their newest version, and you did a Facebook Live of how you were doing stuff, which I have to think created all kinds of interest for the webinar that you and David Sprague did last
Well, we didn't even have the webinar in our minds when I did that. I mean, I knew I was going to do one at some point in time, but that live video was not even about Lead Kahuna. It was about a strategy I was doing, and I just happened to show Lead Kahuna as the software that I was using for the data. I didn't mention it. You could barely even tell what software it was. I don't even think the name was on the screen anywhere. But I got so many people asking what software that was and how can I get a software like that? So yeah, it worked really well, and that was meant to just be a, hey, look at what we're doing so you can copy the idea. People wanted that software. They wanted to know what it was. And
that was me.
They jumped on
that was me. Well, I knew it was Lead Kahuna because I've used it before. And by the way, it's about 1 billion times better than the last time I used it.
And it looks a lot different too.
Got my first lead this week. So.
Yeah, nice. I've only been using Lead Kahuna a couple weeks, and I've already gotten a number of leads and new customers just by doing more so than by myself. That's for darn sure. But yeah, just doing that live video built a lot of hype for that when that wasn't even the intent at the time. So that's worked out really well. But doing a preview of your product, showing off that software, or if it's a physical product, showing off what it does, just a tremendous thing that you can do. And you think about it, this is Facebook's second birthday, 2 years that they've been around. They've done 2.2 billion views. 2.2 billion. Oh boy! Now I lost the statistic that I had it earlier. It's like 2.2.
It's a lot of views of the Facebook Lives.
Yeah, well, it's like 2.2 billion Facebook Lives have been done, and no, I'm sorry, I've got it. My apologies.
Okay.
2.2 billion people have watched a Facebook Live. There you go. Which, by the way, equates to almost every single user of Facebook has watched a Facebook Live at some point.
Wow.
That's pretty darn incredible. And
it's hard not to.
Yeah, it is. It's hard not to watch these things. So another thing that you can do, spotlight one of your customers and the success that they've had. This can be huge. So imagine that you're putting out a new software, or better yet, imagine you're putting out version 2 or version 3 of a new software, and you can get somebody who's used the old version on with you, talk to them about what they've done, the successes they've had, and how can you beat that? Because you've got a real person, and they're not going to be, people are going to trust that because it's going to come off genuine. Unless you're faking it, don't fake it. Get a real customer on there, talk about what they've done and why they've been a success, and I guarantee you're going to get a lot of hype out of that. And even if they're not the greatest on camera, that's not the point. The point is not to produce a great show. It's to point out a spotlight on somebody who's been successful, and that can work really, really well when you jump on there. So definitely something that you want to do. Going to one of Facebook's sub-partner companies here, Instagram. Don't forget Instagram. They have a live platform. They've also got their story platform, which can be big. And of course, Facebook now has the story platform that you can use as well. But use those Instagram stories to tell the story of your product, do the live videos, and you can build a big audience over there as well. And, the secret with Instagram is when you upload a video, they only allow 60 seconds. An Instagram live video can be longer. So that's one thing to think about, is to start using the Instagram for the live videos. So just something that, it just builds an extra audience for you that you may not normally get your hands on. And it's just a great way to be able to do that. And don't forget, one of the things that you can always do is to invite people via email or Facebook Messenger. So the way Facebook Live works is actually one of a couple of ways. You can broadcast right now. You can go in, you can set up a broadcast, hit go, and boom, you're live to the world. But you can set up what they originally called waiting rooms. I don't know if they still use that terminology, but you go in and you say, I'm going to go live tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. And people are immediately notified that you're going to go live tonight at 7 p.m. And on your page, it's got the thing showing you're going to go live at 7 p.m. When it gets closer, it gives you the countdown. And then when you go live, it reminds all the people. So it's a very good platform for doing that. But you can go beyond that. Tell people on Twitter that you're going to go live. Send them a link. Tell people in an email. Send them back to your page. Let them know that you're going to go live. Use Facebook Messenger to message people to let them know that you're going to go live. All of those things can help to get more people to watch you and your live video. I think there's crickets.
I think it's my my atomic clock here.
Take your pills, Steve!
Oh, no! Help me! What do I do with
See, this
thing?
Proves once and for all that we are live. You can see
we
that
are
because,
live.
we hear Steve's...
Jane, stop this crazy thing.
Yes. So Steve's going to get the hammer out and smash up his watch in a second here.
No, I think I can... I think I got it. There. Took the battery
Beautiful. Oh, there we go. So that's another thing that you can do, is to make sure that you reach out to your customers in all the different places that they might be. Now, you can also do a Facebook Messenger bot, and that can be a great way to be able to reach out to people and let them know that you're coming. So all of these things really help to build your Facebook audience. And as you know, because we've said it a bunch of times, we've been doing this for about a year. It has really changed not only the way that we record the podcast, but the way that we interact with our audience, the way we build our audience. It just really shows some of the things that can be done. For one, I've got the software, and I've got the hardware, and I've got all the stuff here. I just want to find creative ways to use it. And, this is one of them. I've got the ability, Steve, I don't know if you know this or not. We're going to talk a little bit here before we sign off. Go back to our show here and the software we're using, Mimo Live. I can do an entire weather broadcast, believe it or not.
That's right. Yeah.
So I can stand in front of the green screen over here and film myself directly into the program, have the map be on the green screen, point out to the different things on there, have the animated lightning bolts and all that, all built into this software. Stuff that, when I used to work in TV news, I mean, we're talking, we had hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of ultramats and weather thises and thatses and, all these things that put together a nice weather forecast. And I could do it right here sitting at my desktop. I mean, that is incredible. And the future is here. These softwares keep growing. Right now, I can actually turn on a Facebook comment bot. So as people leave comments, they can show them on the screen now. We can do that with Twitter. We can bring people in. I mean, it's just incredible. In fact, the software that we're using, the way that Steve connects to me, we're not using Skype or anything like that. It's got a built-in call feature. So it's amazing, some of the things that are out there. And this is just one of many softwares. Personally, for me, I think this is probably the best of the ones that I've used. There are some that are a lot more expensive that are tied to specific hardware, but then you're going to be spending tens of thousands of dollars. But there's software out there that does all of this, makes it easy for you. Some of it's even free, and you can start doing your own show. Steve, any last words before we let people?
Well, yeah, I just realized I had documented when our first show was on Facebook Live. September 1st, 2016 was the first Facebook Live we did, where we did the show, recorded it, and made a podcast out of it. Yeah. Wow. So I knew it'd been more than a year. So a year and a half, I was about right. A year and a half.
That's incredible. I can't believe it's been that first half year that Facebook was live was around. It must have been seemed like forever because I was sitting there waiting. I guess you're waiting around and it takes forever. But
you were going nuts when it rolled out. I remember that.
But then again, the whole birthday thing, the second birthday, we have to look it up and see. Maybe it's the second birthday from when they finally went live to everybody could do it. Who knows? But
yeah, who knows? Yeah.
So that's incredible. It's amazing the technology that we have to be able to do these kinds of things, to reach around the world. And I know that when we do these lives, we've got people from all across the planet who watch these. Flash is always on the show, and he's down
from
under
Australia.
So he's across the world, and it's just amazing that we're able to do that. And so I appreciate you guys as an audience watching or listening to the podcast, and we appreciate Steve and all that he does, because he makes sure that this show actually runs, because if it was up to me and everything, it'd probably be canceled half the time. But he keeps us honest and working here, so we appreciate all the work there. And we hope that you continue to watch our great show, listen to our great podcast, and learn from it. But most of all, we hope that you take action, because as I always say, the things we talk about here work, but only if you do. So get to work, start doing your own podcast, start doing your own Facebook Lives, and really start to kick it up a notch. So with that, Steve, I'm done. How about you?
Yeah, it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Show podcast network. And today's show made possible by a group of communists?
Today's show is made possible by the Com Expo. If you want to make money online, this is your opportunity to learn from the experts, including me. I'll be talking about, guess what I'll be talking about, Steve?
Facebook Live?
Facebook Live. So that's what my talk will be on, is Facebook Live. And that's on April 19th through the 21st. And I'm not sure which day I'm actually going on, so we'll just, you want to come.
Now, where is it? It's in Orlando. So if you live anywhere from Jacksonville down to Tampa, and stop by.
Just drive on over. It'll be easy to get there. But even if you're in California or Australia or England, you can fly on over, spend some time at the Com Expo, then go to Disney World, check it out, and you can make a real vacation out of it. So, should be a lot of fun. You'll get to meet a lot of interesting people, including me, and you get to learn a lot and hopefully make a lot of money from learning about it. So that's the Com Expo.
That's the deal.
April 19th through the 21st, Orlando, Florida. And you can get your tickets now at raisebonuses.com/expo.
Expo. All righty.
All right.
Well, play that funky music, white boy.
Here it comes.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.